Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. And today I'm going to address what some of the ways that we can alleviate these ascension symptoms as they're coming through. Like we don't really turn them off, but there's a lot of different methods that help ease the experience. One of the beautiful listeners out there sent an email to me, and we had an exchange regarding this topic, and I realized that we really don't address it enough. And I was considering this video when Archangel Sandalphon came through, and the message that was really important was to remind us how powerful a tool music is. Music in many different forms is so elevating. It can be healing. It can alter our cellular makeup. It can repair. It can bring. And not only that, but also many of us, for if not all, most of our lives, have been able to noticing that songs come on in a delivering of message often to us. And not just music that comes on the radio or a music quip that comes on in different places and through our media, but also through our mind. Waking up with part of a song in your mind, that specific line that goes and goes again, that's reminding you of something that you need to know right then. That's also a way that music is very helpful in our lives. I have a music folder on my YouTube channel here that none of the music is mine. But it is a collection of some beautiful frequencies that I listen to that help me in different experiences, whether I use it during meditation or just to have it in the background to raise the frequency of the space. It's very helpful and powerful. Another thing is that we send love to it. We send love to anything and all things. And if it is of love, it will answer back with love. And if it is not of love, for shadow cannot stand before the light, it will flee. What is left behind is of light. That is actually the most powerful tool that we have. Some of the other things that we do in a meditative kind of way is asking for the symptoms to be turned down. Often mentally in my mind, I visualize a knob like a dial on a radio, and I turn it down a little bit when the ascension symptom is becoming too unbearable, too overwhelming at that moment. I turn it down, and you can turn it up also. That goes back to meditation again, where how important meditation is for these experiences. A lot of times the reason we're feeling so tired isn't exactly that we need to sleep. It's that we need to be in a space where we can recollect and go through that meditation recentering experience. Bringing in the love light of Source God through your crown chakra and lining up your spine and your neck to make sure all your chakras are in alignment. Bringing that love energy down from God, down, down, down through you, connecting in your heart center. And then the energies from the core of Mother Gaia come spilling up through her into you, up, up, up through your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra meeting in your heart. And then at that point, both energies from the light of love and God and also of Mother Gaia connect in your heart center. You can do this for 5 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be any longer than that. And with such a small amount of time required, you can do this in a bathroom stall at work. You can do this in many situations. Most of us have the ability to pull out a couple of minutes of just being by ourselves. And remember that meditation isn't the ability to sit without thoughts in your mind. Meditation, that's not what it is. Often as people practice it, they get to that experience. But instead of not having thoughts, it's more of realizing that you're just one of many, many, many on the street, and the rest are passers-by. Those you don't know, they walk by you. Some look at you as they walk, but they're just passers-by. They're just nameless faces in a crowd. All these thoughts are the same thing. They're not us. They are outside of us. And instead of grabbing one of those strangers in the crowd and trying to engage with them, Just let them walk by. And that's all that is. Those strangers are those thoughts. Those thoughts are not you. They are not you. They are your ego. Often. And you will find that when you go into that space after a while, there will be an internal dialogue that will occur. And oftentimes that dialogue is an energy exchange between you and the higher realms. It's beautiful. No one has to be a practice guru to be able to connect with God. We all have direct connection to God. Another really important thing, thank you, is that we need to consider our body, listen to our bodies. Our ability to withstand many things that is not in alignment with our body has been a skill we've been utilizing for quite some time. But now it's time for us to start to listen to what our body's asking us to do and to not do. You know, one of those things is the things that we put in our body, the foods that we use, the foods that we eat. When cooking, interacting with the food with your hands, with your bare hands will be very helpful. Your body knows whether or not it wants that ingredient. If that doesn't feel like something that you want, don't add it. You know, using that method over a period of time, I've turned from a full-on carnivore to a vegan. You know, at first it was certain kinds of meat that I would have what seemed like an allergic reaction to. My body would get rid of it as fast as it could. And then more and more meats got included in that list before altogether all meats are gone. And just all kinds of things like that. And cravings for things that we don't typically eat is something strange that is useful to think about. Allow your body to ask you and to eat that thing, try that thing. You know, there's minerals and vitamins and things that our body needs right now that as we increase in our ability and our light, we're pushing out the darkness and making this room for this light. And as that light comes in, our body requires different things right now. Another thing is sleep, listening to your body. Sometimes that sleep that your body's asking you to do really is something that you need at that time. Many of us are more tired. The biggest trick about all this stuff is just to be gentle with yourself. You don't have to push your body. If that's something that you need, try to make that so, if you can. Water is another body thing. We're all being asked to drink more and more water right now. The plasma can move its way through your body more efficiently and painlessly when there's more water involved. We are bodies of water. We can make this water be even more beautiful and more healing and helpful to us if we send love to it. Sending love to anything changes it. But it's most obvious with things that were before we put it in our body, which is likely where the praying over your food came from. You know, I do that with my food also. I send love to it. If I feel like that it's something that may have been handled by more than a handful of people, you don't know what those people were going through when they were touching your food. They may have been disgruntled workers, and who knows. And so, putting your hands above your plate, above what you're about to serve or whatever, and pulling out anything that's not a positive energy, and bringing it into the cups of your hand like you're collecting it, and then presenting it back up, and send it back up in thanks, and bringing in the thanks and the love back into your palms. Turn your hands back over and send that back down into it. And that brings chemical alignment into the food, into the water. Sending love to it, love and thanks, will change its molecular structure. And you will find not only does it taste better, but your body will be different. It will help. Also, baths. Interacting with water. If you don't have a bath, that's okay. Interact with the water. Fill the sink up. Put your feet in a wading pool, in a bucket of water, whatever. I just participate. Interact with the water. It's very useful if you have a bath. If you can put Epsom salt in that bath, or sometimes I use pink Himalayan salt. That is so activating and grounding. The water woke up. The water is waking up. Or are we waking up to the point where we can acknowledge the fact that it's already awake? I'm not sure. But it's an experience now. It's different. And when we send the love to our food, we send it to our water, We send it to the things that we're interacting with also. You know, I send love to the body of water that I'm interacting with, whether or not I drink it. And by doing that, the elevation of the experience is so profound. You know, you're creating holy water, basically, right? I guess that's what that was the thing. And then you spend time in it, absorbing it and thanking it for being. And the more that we send the love and the thanks to the water that we're in, the more the experience heightens. It's profound. And just be gentle with yourself. Your body knows. Your body knows what it needs and what it doesn't. And if you can, allow the baggage of the judgment that we have carried around for this lifetime to fall away. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. In fact, that is the mission. As you take care of self, you're taking care of everyone else too. As your loving self, you're loving everyone else too. As your forgiving self, you're forgiving everyone else too. And that is the point. The love. Let's talk about the twitches before I forget. So as we're sending out those negative energies, just energies that are no longer of this experience that we're in, okay? Because it's really not really negative, right? While we are doing that, we're making room for this light to come in. And while that's happening, some areas of our bodies are molecularly becoming. Our atomic anatomy is coming online, are waking up. And those things that some of those things that we're still holding on to most often are from past life experiences. There's groupings of muscles that are having soreness, that are having discomfort. And that's the area that needs to be focused on. If you're noticing it more in your lower back, then perhaps you felt like that you were betrayed in some way and stabbed in the back in a past life. That's often a thing of someone being called out in the old days, in the long time ago days, when being called a witch or something like that. Lung association is a lot of times the people that are having lung difficulties right now with the extra tightness and extra muscular stuff, distress. That's often due to inhalation of smoke, not always. And many times that again has to do with something about being ended because you were one of us. One of the light warriors that came in with this journey and this information. And when there was that period where they were trying to cast everybody out, a lot of us died in fire, you know, and the inhalation of smoke was the last sensation that we had, because most of us, actually we all have the choice to leave, and most of us choose that, to leave before death actually occurs. And those horrific experiences didn't happen as detailed in most cases. Just so you know, it's kind of nice to know that. Shoulder and neck is a really common one. That's the one I experience, and that is the feeling at some point throughout our lives, having been carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, keeping the secret, not being our authentic selves, and feeling like we're free to talk about these things, about these gifts, about this light and love, and the grounding of these experiences, and the truth of who we are, and to look beyond the veil and participate. And that's this area, knowing that we can put some healing energy toward that experience, to remember that we're okay, we are safe, we are powerful, we are not in those experiences any longer. We are now here. We've made it, and you're okay. Send some love to it. Send forgiveness. Send forgiveness to self. And when doing those things, those places open back up, and the light can shine there too. So the grounding is really important, because if we don't ground, we're not having a complete experience. Most of us in this awakening journey, and having been here even for a while, most of us have found the upper chakras are the easiest to address. Whereas the root chakra and the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra are the three chakras that tend to not have as much attention or skill, practice to it. And so right now we're being called to like focus on those a little bit more. And grounding is the root chakra. That's your first, that's your red. And to ground right now is the most important. And again, most of us aren't very good at that. So how do we come about that to make that happen? If you are in a place where you can access nature, or even a public park with trees or grass, go there. Go there barefoot if you can. Touch the grass with your hands if you have to instead of your feet, or both is great. Touching a tree, touching the base of a tree as you walk through, you will find this amazing energy coming off of it. It's those tree huggers knew what they were talking about, right? And touching the leaves of any plant. If you can't go out, you know, if you don't have a place where there is vegetation to participate in, a potted plant works just as well. It's more useful the larger the plant. Also, if you can't walk around barefoot outside for one reason or another, there's not dirt, there's not soil or water, then bringing in soil into the house, into a small container. It doesn't have to be a pot. It can be, you know, cake pan or something like that. And just set your feet on the top of it for at least 5 minutes. The pores on the soles of our feet are the largest pores in our body for a reason. We have been designed to absorb the minerals and needed things from the soil through the soles of our feet as we walk the earth for all of this time until recently, when we've decided shoes were so important, right? Bring soil into the house, put your feet on it for 5 minutes. That will ionize as well. Or play with it with your hands for 10 minutes a day. You know, and remembering when you're having those twitching spots on your body, to touch it. When we touch that, we're giving healing to it. Faith and certainty are the same thing. When we look at something, knowing that we're creating this experience, knowing that you have that power, you create it because you are the creator. I hope this helped in some small way. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for your service. Aho blessings.